the event overview. The European record, Sergio Sanchez, the championship record, 7:38. I wonder whether it will be run quickly. The women's 3000 yesterday, of course, was a wonderful run by Laura Muir. And that started slowly. Will this? There's the lineup then. From the inside, Parsons of Germany, Henrik Ingebrigtsen, Johan Koval of France, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Gracier of France, Atkin of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Bartelsmeyer of Germany, O'Hare of Great Britain, Leandersson of Sweden, Vedrani of France, Orth of Great Germany, and Bouchard of Great Britain. Then we'll have the usual demonstrations. There's Sam Parsons, an American originally, and then he's decided to run for Germany. He's got a German mother. Here's the first of the Ingebrigtsens, the older brother, Henrik Ingebrigtsen. Looked good in his heat. Henrik, runner-up last time. Then Johan Koval, who won the European steeplechase title. He's also got a bronze medal at that event. Obviously very capable on the flat as well at both 1500 and 3000. And here is the wonderful Jakob Ingebrigtsen, still just 19 years of age, and already with a host of titles to his credit. Doubling up here in the 1500 as well. Jimmy Gracier, the European under-23 cross-country champion the last 2 years. Sam Atkin, a British athlete educated in the US and making his senior international debut for Great Britain. He's done well to make the final. The second of the German athletes, again, he's just transferred from the USA. Like Parsons, he has a German mother, so dual citizenship, and he's opted for Germany, and he's broken 750 this year. Chris O'Hare has moved up from 1500 to 3000, where he looked really good in his heat, and he's the British champion at this new event as well. Major contender for honours here. Jonas Leandersson of Sweden was fifth 2 years ago in Belgrade. Swedish champion at 1500 and at 3000. Then we have from France, Djali Bedrani, another steeplechaser, European Championship finalist. Florian Orth, another man who's moved up from the 1500, twice a European Championships finalist at that shorter distance. And then Andrew Butchart, well, he had a break in his right foot which cost him the whole of the summer season last year. Good to see him back, a man who was sixth in the Olympics at 5,000 metres. And another Scot. Scotland with O'Hare, of course, as well. And a very large proportion in the British team with the actual populations. So a lot of interest, of course. Just there was last night in Laura Muir, who had a majestic win in the 3000 metres in beating Costa Halfen of Germany. So too a lot of interest here in, above all, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the brilliant young Norwegian. A field of 12 athletes.
And if Jakob Ingebrigtsen was to take the gold, he'd become the youngest ever European indoor individual champion.
There he is, looking composed. Just seems to have it all, doesn't he? Wonderful temperament. That double in the European Championships last year, absolutely phenomenal. Winning both the 1500 and 5000 at such a tender age. Still ranks as an under-20 athlete. Let's see whether he runs the under-20 championships in summer, but of course his main target will be the Worlds.
Well, just on that point, he did actually say after the European cross-country championships that it was one of the targets for the summer, so he is looking at going to Boris.
Get all the titles you can. And there was a shot of the mustachioed elder brother, Henrik. The French have both Koval and Gracier. Koval here. So off they go on their 15 laps of the track. A little bit of jockeying for position. No one seems very keen on taking out the running until now. There we go. So the race is going to be run at a respectable pace after all. It looked for a while as if we were going to have an early jog, which we do sometimes in these championship distance races, but no. And it's Henrik Ingebrigtsen. Well, there was some speculation that the Ingebrigtsens might make it a slow pace actually, and Jakob coming up to join the elder brother. Well, if it was a slow pace, I think Jakob could certainly handle anything, but then so too could Chris O'Hare, who's moved up to 1,500 metres. So it is the Norwegian brothers who are at the head of the field. Sam Atkin of Great Britain just on the inside there. Not especially quick. We'll take a check on that when they come up to the 400-metre point with Henrik Ingebrigtsen in the lead. No, he's being overtaken. So we've joined the 3,000 metres. They went through the first kilometre in 2:48. The Ingebrigtsen brothers trying to dominate the race. Parsons on the outside. Chris O'Hare actually took the lead at one stage because he was determined not to let the Ingebrigtsens totally dominate this race. O'Hare back there in 5th place with the long-haired Parsons next to the Ingebrigtsen brothers. Leigh Anderson of Sweden coming up. A little bit of jockeying for position. Leigh Anderson in the yellow and blue of Sweden. He's getting prominent, but the whole field pretty closely bunched together because it's not especially quick. So the order just chopping and changing a bit, but Jakob Ingebrigtsen with Henrik on the inside. Jakob Ingebrigtsen followed by Leigh Anderson, then Henrik Ingebrigtsen coming up on the outside, the German.
I was going to throw in, just as a point of comparison, in the heat yesterday when Ingebrigtsen set a European under-20 best, that was 2:39 for the first kilometre.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this will get quicker, of course, later on. But nonetheless, it is a pretty slow opening pace. They're not particularly interested in going for times. What they want to do is get the medals. Meanwhile, back on the 3,000 metres, not much has changed. It's still Koval leading Jakob Ingebrigtsen, then Henrik Ingebrigtsen, then Chris O'Hare with Johan Leigh Anderson just outside him. Leigh Anderson moving up at that point, off just behind them. Building in intensity. They're coming up to the 2-kilometre point now. And they'll go through that in 5:32:04. So I think we can expect, rather like we did in the women's race, a very fast final kilometre. Jakob Ingebrigtsen looks so easy in second place though, but just behind Koval. Leigh Anderson on the inside with Henrik Ingebrigtsen just behind him. O'Hare tracking those leading ones. But the whole field still together. And we're coming up to 4 laps to go now. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen back into the lead, and Henrik goes with him. The two brothers with Koval in 3rd, Leigh Anderson in 4th. And Bedrani is well placed, the Frenchman as well. I've mentioned him before. O'Hare running a little bit wide to stay out of trouble, but following Leigh Anderson. Two Ingebrigtsens, Leigh Anderson, Bedrani, O'Hare. Just a little push at the side. They're still jockeying for positions. Jakob perhaps just stepping up the pace just that little bit. The Ingebrigtsen brothers have it at the moment. O'Hare, of course, who's now in 3rd, has a 1,500-metre runner's finish. And then Leigh Anderson. Then Bedrani just behind him. Bartelsmeyer taking closer order as well. It's 2 laps to go, and it's the Ingebrigtsens with O'Hare, Leigh Anderson and Bedrani. Those 5 getting clear. The 2 Ingebrigtsens getting clear. Jakob leading Henrik. Or the other way around, I'm sorry. Yes, it's the 2 Ingebrigtsen brothers really going well. Jakob staying on the shoulder of his elder brother. Jakob with such talent, even Henrik has to acknowledge that. They go through the bell together. O'Hare in 3rd place, Leigh Anderson in 4th, Bedrani then behind him. They're well clear of the rest of the field. The battle royal, but the crowd are cheering because they can see Chris O'Hare making a really strong bid here. It's still Jakob, then Henrik, then Chris O'Hare. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, though, this brilliant 19-year-old stretching away from the field. A really classy run. He's adding yet another medal to his brilliant talent. How many more are there to come? And O'Hare just takes it from Henrik Ingebrigtsen, who falls across the line. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, our winner here. Chris O'Hare will be a popular medalist for Scotland, and Henrik Ingebrigtsen makes it two brothers who will step onto the victory podium. But what a talent Jakob Ingebrigtsen is. And remember, he's got the 1500 to come.
Well, his brother Henrik Ingebrigtsen tried everything to break him. When it came from down to the race, there was no brotherly love there, but Jakob Ingebrigtsen just had everything to respond. It was a tactically perfect race from Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
But he has got that European under-20 record again, despite the slow start. Oh no, I'm misreading it. I thought it was 7:50.15 and it's 7:56.15.
But the accolade he does have is he's the youngest ever European indoor individual medalist. Yeah, so the European under-20 record probably disappeared in the first kilometre, but as we've said so often, well, it's the true racing and it's the medals that matter. There'll be plenty of other occasions. He's still only 18 years of age. These are the closing stages of the race. Well, we're watching Jakob Ingebrigtsen pull away from his brother, but what a terrific run behind him from Chris O'Hare. Just gritting his teeth, determination written all over the Briton's face as he closes down on Henrik Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen, of course, a medalist 2 years ago in Belgrade. And O'Hare, well, you can see Ingebrigtsen going away for the gold, but he doesn't throw in the towel and he gets in there. Ingebrigtsen desperately lunging for the line, trying to recapture the silver medal, but it wasn't to be. O'Hare takes second place.
Second and third given the same time as well, shows how close it was. Ingebrigtsen looking so cool. Not quite as cool, Henrik behind him.
Well, Henrik Ingebrigtsen gave an interesting interview to television yesterday when he went through all the scars that he's picked up and could name who had inflicted them on him. He was saying spike marks from Kenyan runners and Ethiopian runners. And back on the track as Jakob Ingebrigtsen takes a very, very deserved lap of honour. And just remember, tomorrow he's got the 1500 metres as well. He's qualified for the final there. He's going for a memorable double.
Yes, the two 3,000 metre champions will be going for doubles. Laura Muir in the women's and Jakob Ingebrigtsen in the men's.
So Marcin Lewandowski, he's one of them, 33 years of age, the home favourites, a hat-trick of European indoor titles, 4 times a medalist in this competition. And he goes in the 3,000, I believe, as well. So every chance of 2 medals, and only one Polish man and one Polish woman have ever won 6 or more medals in the history of this competition. So no crowd, but the noise level still increases considerably for Marcin Lewandowski. Paul Robinson, well, he said that he probably has a 1% chance to the Irish press, but he says he's dangerous when he has nothing to lose, and he's someone who's been through all kinds of injuries, sciatica, hip problems, tears and Achilles tendons. This young man, though, practically unstoppable, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Neil Gawley, another top Briton. We've seen so many of those. Of course, Amy Eloise Markovic taking the women's 3,000 title. Ignacio Fontes, the European under-23 champion, in a thrilling race that was. He was 4th in Leerbout behind Ingebrigtsen recently. Philip Sassenek, 3rd here in 2017, 5th at the Copernicus Cup here recently, 3:36.53, his new best. Michael Rosmis, University and Military Games champion in 2019, 3:36.10 his best. Andrew Koskaren, 3:37.20 his improvement. He was 5th in that record-breaking race in Neva, improving to 3:37. It's a fantastic lineup. This is Steen Baton. We just saw there Piers Copeland. He was behind Fontes at the European Under-23s and darted from the outside to the inside and back to the outside in order to pick up a silver medal that he said he didn't really expect going in. Jesus Gomez, second of the two Spaniards, but well, on paper it'd be very close. He was the bronze medalist 2 years ago in Glasgow. Istvan Shoji, an outside chance of a medal, a strong performance yesterday in the heat, and last but absolutely not least, Jan Frisch, and I say not least because they have all made improvements indoors faster than they've ever run in the 2 months and a bit so far in 2021. Well, this is a race fitting to end a great day of action here that we've had already. Marcin Lewandowski bidding for a 4th consecutive European indoor 1500 metre gold medal. There he is, a cool customer. He beat off the young pretender, the starlet Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who's now 20 by the way, and is the European record holder indoors and out. That thrilling race recently in France that I mentioned, 3:31. Can he go even faster perhaps? Already 5th all-time in the world, behind Tefera, El Garouj, Kajelcha and Gebre Selassie. Just as the race got underway, there was a bit of holding hands, a bit of jostling for position involving a Czech athlete towards the back. I think that was Sasinek, because Frisch is near the front there. So Lewandowski on the inside and practically having a Rozmish for the company, another who's doubled up here, and there's a few races, a few rounds to get through. That's what it's all been about. But these men, in fact, they didn't have a semi-final to negotiate. We had 15 entries, 41 of which, in fact, had improved indoors this year. No semi-final, and therefore straight through to tonight. Jakob Ingebrigtsen now leading at the front from Lewandowski and Gomez. So slightly different order, but the same top 3 as they finished in Glasgow 2 years ago. Now Ingebrigtsen against Lewandowski, the key battle royale here. I say Jakob has now improved so much since that race even in Glasgow, and of course that was just one of the events where he made a big international breakthrough in the 3,000 metres. But Jakob, who's now 20, did actually beat Marcin Lewandowski by 5 seconds in that recent race where he set that new European indoor record. Incredible to think that he's doing that at such a young age. Just the two Ingebrigtsen brothers, I think, at this event. Philip unfortunately didn't make it out of the heats, but Jakob can reign supreme out front. Just how long can the pack stay with this pace? So you can see 3:40 pace just at the moment, and many athletes hanging on to this, including Neil Gourley, introduced so far, so we've barely got a chance to mention Gourley. But that new 3:35.79 best for the world finalist. Gomez of Spain, ahead of his teammate Fontes, who's back in 6th place at the moment. But you've got 2 Poles and 2 Spaniards fairly near the sharp end of this race. Well, you've got the battle between Ingebrigtsen and Lewandowski, who's on home turf here, and trying to add his name to the history books, which he's already done so over so many years. And fantastic to think really that he's setting a new indoor best at the grand age of 33. Ingebrigtsen, 13 years his junior, trying to climb even higher than 5th on the all-time indoor list for 1500 metres. They hit the bell, 3:38 pace here. Ingebrigtsen trying to avenge defeat from 2 years ago. Lewandowski isn't finished just yet, and look at Gomez. Perhaps while we're watching the front two to battle once again, we're forgetting about Gomez, who's still very much there. on this last lap. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is seen off Lewandowski, and he's the champion, age 20. What a talent. Lewandowski beaten by 5 seconds in that recent race in France. Closer this time around, but in the end he's beaten by a tremendous young Norwegian champion. Both very much making history, and Lewandowski has done that throughout his career. He takes yet another European indoor medal. That's his 5th in total, so as I say, he just needs a 6th, and he'll match Marian Voronin, the only ever Polish man who's done that in European Indoor Championship history. Let's take another look here, Phil. Well, Lewandowski was cool at the front, and Ingebrigtsen appeared from almost nowhere on the inside. Look at him taking charge. Goodness me, that was very close. And as soon as he hit the front, he was in control.
Did to a time trial once Ingebrigtsen got to the front. Ingebrigtsen, well, he makes time trialing 3:38 indoors, just looks so comfortable. I'm just wondering, with the aid of hindsight, whether Lewandowski would probably have been better served just trying to stay with Ingebrigtsen. We know Lewandowski can run faster than this. He's shown that on several occasions, as you rightly said, on this very track. He set a Polish indoor record just a few weeks ago. But would he have been better off just hanging on for dear life to Ingebrigtsen and just seeing how it unravelled? Would Ingebrigtsen have been possibly just a little bit perturbed and scared if he had seen Lewandowski on his shoulder? I don't know, and we'll never know. In the end, Ingebrigtsen just ran it from the front and left everybody else trailing in his wake. And Ingebrigtsen, well, he adds to his European Indoor Championship portfolio after winning the 3,000 metres 2 years ago in Glasgow. Silver on that occasion for Ingebrigtsen behind Lewandowski. On this occasion, the positions are reversed, and a very brave run for the bronze medal by Jesus Gomez. Well, there's not that many European Indoor Championships that are run faster than we saw this evening. And Gomez, well, a very good run indeed from the young Spaniard to get his first major international medal.
Yes, and in the end, a thrilling battle. Not quite the speed that we thought maybe it had the potential to be, to really light up this arena. But Ingebrigtsen from Lewandowski in the end, and as you rightly say, Gomez doing incredibly well to be fighting at the end with those two.
The men's 3,000 metres getting ready to enter the Arena Torun. In amongst them, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the defending champion. How can he be defeated? He added a 1,500 metres gold medal to his very impressive array of honours earlier in these championships. Well, there's some extremely good runners in there. Just need to look down those lists. Andrew Butchart, Isaac Kimeli, Adel Mechal of Spain rings out. So this is Jack Rowe of Great Britain. First of the 12 men to come through. US based. Sean Tobin. Another man who made US educated. Jimmy Gressier, well, reigning European under-23 champion at 5,000 metres, 10,000 and cross-country. Now world-class steeplechaser. Robin Hendricks, well, best honour to date. 2019 World Student Games 5,000 metres bronze. Nava Nordas. Mohamed Katir, well, this new find from Spain, from 7:35 this year. Hugo Hay came in through the back door as one of the non-automatic qualifiers, but still an outstanding runner at both cross-country and 5,000 metres. Andrew Butchart, well, 6th in the 2016 Olympics over 5,000 metres. Very good runner indeed. Isaac Kimeli. Melli, 2018 European cross-country silver. And the man we're all looking out for, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, still only 20 years of age. And Adel Machal. Well, this is an intriguing race because everybody knows about the talent of Ingebrigtsen. Now, we almost forgot him. Marcel Fair, Germany. How do you beat Jakob Ingebrigtsen? Well, people have tried in various different ways. In 1500 meters, Marcin Lewandowski let him go, thought he would run out of steam and hoped that his finish was going to be quick enough to take him just like he did in Glasgow. But compared to Glasgow, Ingebrigtsen, 2 years older, wiser and quicker. Jimmy Gressier, well, there's one man who can beat him. Well, there's several who could potentially challenge him. It would be Gressier. One tactic maybe for somebody like Gressier, just to take it out very, very quickly and see whether his 3 previous races have left him just with a little bit of lead in his legs. 12 men in this final, 15 laps of the track. The men's 3,000 meters final. Straight to the front. Well, the first few hundred meters always quick, so don't worry too much about the pace charts at this stage. Let's see how it looks a couple of laps into this race. Everybody just sorting themselves out, getting into their rhythms, trying to avoid trouble. I was impressed with Katir in his heat, the Spaniard. Katir was the Spanish indoor champion back in 2019. Only second this time around, but nevertheless, he's had some good runs on the international circuit and is capable of running very fast indeed. Ingebrigtsen's personal best isn't wickedly fast. 7:49. Many of these men have actually run faster than him, and that may be the answer. But who's going to be daring enough to take it on? 500 meters undergone, and we're at almost exactly 8-minute pace. It's a nice little innovation, I think. The display on the left-hand side of your screen, Ingebrigtsen, and this will suit Ingebrigtsen down to the ground, keeping it steady. Once it gets beyond 8 minutes pace, maybe those 3 previous races will start to tell. Although having said that, when you consider that he was double gold medalist in Berlin at the age of 18 over 1500 meters and 5000 meters, I don't think too many races phase him excessively. Kimeli, so back on track, just over 5 laps undergone, and it's still very, very sedentary pace. Can't help feeling this is just playing into Jakob Ingebrigtsen's hand. This is a man who's run 3:31 indoors for 1500 meters. He's got such a turn of speed that I don't think anybody in this field can match that. Some quick finishers as well, but none as quick as Ingebrigtsen. Hey, out in front, Kimeli, Hendricks. A couple of Frenchmen in this field. The behatted Jimmy Gressier. That familiar backwards baseball cap. 6 laps to go, and it's still Hay leading the way. Michel now having moved up in second place, and then the 2 Belgians, Kimeli and Hendricks. And Ingebrigtsen just tucked in on the curb. At the moment boxed in, but he's got just over 1,000 meters to unravel himself. Gressier coming around the outside. I don't think we've lost any men at the moment. No, they're all still in there, with the second Norwegian, Nordas, just bringing up the rear. Well, the pace has got back to close to 8-minute pace, but it still isn't that fast as we see Ingebrigtsen move to the front. And suddenly he's injected a bit of pace into this race. Hay, Michel, Kimeli, Gressier and Katir covering the break. There's now a bit of daylight between the leading 6. So it's Ingebrigtsen, Michel, Hay, Katir, Kimeli and Gressier. They're the leading 6 and they're just starting to get slightly away from the rest. Oh, Rowe has managed to tow the rest of the field back. So still 12 men. 3 laps to go. It is getting faster and faster. Ingebrigtsen is making this long surge from home, but he hasn't shaken anybody off just yet. Michel gritting his teeth. He's had success over 10,000 metres, Michel. And maybe that's where his ambitions lie these days, over the longer distances, the Spaniard. Katir now moving up. Katir, the Spaniard, with a rather ungainly running style, but it is effective. He is quick. Fastest man in Europe this year with that blue bib on his. So we're now 300 metres from home and it really is starting to crank up. They're going to come into the home straight now for the penultimate time. And they're going to hear the bell very shortly. And it's Ingebrigtsen, Katir, Kimeli. That's the 1, 2, 3 at the moment with Michel. And then daylight back to the rest. Ingebrigtsen now starting to go through the gears with 200 metres to go. He's looking around. Katir working so hard to try and stay with him, but Ingebrigtsen now starting to pull away from the rest. Kimeli trying to get around Katir, finding his way blocked, and Ingebrigtsen's home and away. That long surge from 600 metres out. Kimeli gets himself through on the inside to take the silver, and Michel of Spain gets the bronze. Well, a 2:21, 2:22 for those purposes of argument. Last kilometre. Personal best for Ingebrigtsen, and he still doesn't look that much out of breath. 3 top-class races before this, and he's still got enough in the tank to take the gold medal and set a personal best over 15 laps of the track. Well, I have to say, though, everybody really played into Ingebrigtsen's hands. Nobody had the courage to take it out and really make him hurt, maybe at 7:45 pace. I think Gressier and Michel, well, and Katir, they all threw away their chances of tilt at the gold by just letting Ingebrigtsen do what he wanted to do from the last kilometre. And then over the last lap, nobody was going to touch him. Kimeli behind him, just nipping away round Katir, getting through for the silver. Michel following him round and can't quite get to the Belgian. But gold, once again, this man, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He's got so many collection now. 2 from Berlin, 1 from Glasgow, 2 from Torun. Yes, number 1, no doubt about that. He is the dominating middle distance runner in Europe at the moment. Kimeli, very pleased with his silver medal. And what a championships it's been for Belgium. 2 golds now, and Kimeli's silver. There's a possibility of maybe 1 or 2 other medals to come later on this afternoon. We shall see. Adel Michel, well, after a couple of 4ths at world and continental competitions, finally gets on the podium. He was 4th at the World 1500 metres in 2017. There's confirmation of the times, the leading 6. Ingebrigtsen, 7:48.20, personal best and a gold medal, home by Isaac Kimeli and Adel Michel of Belgium and Spain, respectively.
It's time for the men's 1500 metre final. Just seeing the athletes filter through the gates. The first half of Jakob Ingebrigtsen's attempt at a double gold. Great Britain's Neil Gorley be the man to defy him. Azzedine Habs has had a busy-ish season. He's not raced quite as much as Neil Gorley. Maybe saving something for this bigger stage. Michael Rosmus, clever tactician. What is Jakob Ingebrigtsen going to do? He led out the World Championship final in Eugene. It was very swift and it cost him ultimately. Jake Whiteman kicking past Jakob Ingebrigtsen to take the gold medal. So Neil Gorley has got a better change of pace than Jakob Ingebrigtsen, a 1:44 800-meter runner. We know Jakob Ingebrigtsen's quick and we know he's strong. Missed a month of training in the early start of this 2023 year with illness. Could that cost the amazing Norwegian another title? Lost the World Indoor Championships last year to Samuel Tefera. Tested positive for COVID the following day or that evening. Kind of explains that. And, lost the World Championships to Jake Whiteman. Misjudged the amount of effort he was putting in, didn't leave himself a sprint finish. Jakob Ingebrigtsen has run the fastest in Europe this year, 3:32.38, his only race. A win in Leuven. Closed very well. It was in the first heat yesterday that was slow, only ran 3:50. He's just good enough to qualify, he put himself into third place. Simon Meslek of Italy is just inside of him. George Mills has been having a good season. Azzedine Habs and Adisi fancy their chances. This man's had a bronze medal twice at the European Indoor Championships. Jesus Gomez, injury ruined his 2022 outdoor season. Looked good in the qualification. Neil Gorley is having the season of his life. Last outing was a British indoor record for this man, taking Josh Kerr's mark, 3:32.48. Michael Rosmus just inside him. Rosmus used to be very, very handy, but only when the races were slow, and he's built that fitness. He's lowered his personal best to the point where Michael Rosmus is handy in a fast race as well. Jesus Gomez spotting himself on the big screen. He was perhaps the happiest of the qualifiers yesterday, running himself back into shape after missing the whole outdoor season last year. Jakob Ingebrigtsen's got a good lane draw there on the outside. Neil Gorley's got off the line hard, giving himself the very best shot, trying to see what Jakob Ingebrigtsen's going to do. And there goes Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He's not hanging round at all. Damiani of Belgium has got himself ahead of Neil Gorley. You can sense the panic there for Neil Gorley. And George Mills goes down. He takes down Osama Meslek. That's heartbreak for George Mills and Osama Meslek. George Mills doing everything he can to get back on this pace. Osama Meslek, unfortunately, has stepped aside. That was a serious injection of pace just after 100 metres into the race. And you could see when you've got someone that's the world indoor record holder, you take those moves so seriously, all pushing and shoving. Azzedine Habs getting himself into second place. They've just got to relax now, just got to settle down a tiny bit. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen only left them wondering for 100 metres, and now we know that he's feeling strong, and he thinks his best chance at taking his first gold medal here in Istanbul is to make this a hard race from the start.
And it's Ingebrigtsen still leading the way at the moment, looking imperial. Azzedine Habs, well, we were looking at him as a real contender for the medals. He's had a terrific indoor season, and Neil Gorley behind him at the moment as well. So they went through 500 metres in 71.73. Decent pace for indoor running. Championship record potentially could be under threat. Even Heshko's 3:36.70, which has been on the books since 2005 when we were in Madrid. And Ingebrigtsen just tearing the guts out of this field. Habs and Gorley doing the best to hang on. So too Gomez, the two-time former bronze medalist. At the moment, the rest of the field single file behind them.
And when you're when the race is picked up here, they're running at a very good pace. Given that the first 100 metres was today, you've got to be very, very alert to if there's any gaps. That's what Neil Gawley is doing right now. If you're going to try and beat Jakob Ingebrigtsen, you can't give him 1.5 meters. That means you have to be right behind him. So Neil Gawley making the decision there as we move up to the kilometre mark. He wanted to go past Azzedine Habs, and I don't think Habs would have let Neil Gawley do that if he could possibly avoid it, unless the Frenchman has just lost concentration ever so slightly. Great move from Jesus Gomez to get himself onto the back of this group. He's a double bronze medalist at this level, and he's starting to separate himself from Arizi and Luke McCann as they are behind. Jakob Ingebrigtsen still in the lead. That's slowed a tiny bit, 29.3. It's not crazy fast for these men in the 1500 metres. Jakob Ingebrigtsen just going to ease off ever so slightly to save himself a bit of a kick for the finish.
The championship record could definitely be still on, as it's Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the front, still ploughing away. As they come up to the bell, it's Jakob Ingebrigtsen, it's Norway, Britain and France, and they look like the men who are going to take the medals.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he's not quite kicked yet. He's going to wind it up, Neil Gawley has got a phenomenal change of pace. That's the first attempt for Neil Gawley. He hasn't managed to get past Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He's going to have to try again in the straight. Neil Gawley working hard. Has Jakob Ingebrigtsen saved something? Surely he has. Here goes Neil Gawley. He's launching a charge. He cannot reel in the Olympic champion. Jakob Ingebrigtsen had the title of favourite, but he was going to have a tough job here in Istanbul. A 26.87 final circuit. That's what's given Jakob Ingebrigtsen the win. It is a championship record. 3:33. George Mills trailing in here in 11th place. Heartbreaking fall for the British athlete in the first 100 metres or so. But they did everything they could, and they came up short. Jakob Ingebrigtsen wins yet another European title. Half of the double succeeded here on the Friday night in Istanbul.
Well, I'm sure Jakob Ingebrigtsen will have watched that heat performance from Neil Gawley and thought to himself, I'm not going to be surprised again by Britain, however good he is, and a second major championship. Of course, Ingebrigtsen did manage to hold off the threat of the British at the European Championships outdoors, but it still lingers, that defeat to Jake Whiteman in Eugene at the World Championships, and he got a modicum of revenge there. This time it was Neil Gawley representing British interest, but they couldn't defeat Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Jakob Ingebrigtsen was just absolutely imperious from the gun, coming home in a championship record of 3:33.95. Well, absolutely tremendous running on a global or continental stage at a major championship. Azzedine Habs looking very pleased with his first major individual medal. Has got European medals as part of the cross-country relays in the past, but he's really come through this year, the Frenchman. There's the three medalists all together. This is the fall, this is where it all happens. I think they're going to be looking at that, because I wouldn't be at all surprised if Friss was involved. He looked as though he was pushing and shoving there. Luke McCann was involved as well, and McCann was carrying over your yellow card from the heats.
I think there you can see at that stage, I think Osama Maslet just catches the trail leg of George Mills. It was 30-40 metres in the making there.
That's right. But also Gawley had given him a push to get a bit of space as well.
I mean, for me, protecting your position like that, George Mills was trying to, not really consciously trying to overtake, because there was only 150 metres into the race or so. I think Neil Gawley was just protecting his position there, and it perhaps just one of those things that happened.
Yes, I'd be very surprised if Gawley was penalised, but certainly there was contact. But looking at the sharp end of the race, Ingebrigtsen having the luxury of being able to look around with about 30 metres to go, and his finger goes in the air with 5 metres go, and he reaffirms the fact that he's number one as far as European middle distance running is concerned.
We have our third European champion of the evening. I'm not sure we can make out his interview here on the infield. But what I really love about this win for Jakob Ingebrigtsen is he's struggled this indoor season. He's been very public about the fact he's been ill. So he's potentially vulnerable, lost that World Indoor Championships when he was ill. But choosing to prioritise another European Championships, and it is a another gold medal for Norway, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen, championship record 3:33. Neil Gorley, silver medal 3:34. Azzedine Habs, the bronze, 3:35.39.
So now the men's 3,000 metres final. Quite a packed field. Well, there's 15 men. I'll give you the full lineup as we get the race underway. But on the inside, it's Charlie Grethin, better known as a 1,500 metre runner, a 3:32 1,500 metre runner, and he's got a kick. I can't really think of anything new to say about Jakob Ingebrigtsen. 10 European senior titles to his name. Already won the 1,500 metres in a championship record. So just to give you the full lineup and give every runner the respect that they deserve, we've got Grethin of Luxembourg, Bibic of Serbia, Rowan West of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, Poppin of the Netherlands, Makaleni of Ireland, Augusto, and I would keep an eye out for Bastien Augusto. He looked very good winning the French indoor title. Danielsson of Sweden, Sundström also from Sweden, Mire of Norway, Hendricks, who we've seen from Belgium, Mechal of Spain, Parsons, Germany. Well, Ingebrigtsen's decided to make this an honest race after a sedentary first couple of laps. Ingebrigtsen getting to the front. Well, they went through 400 metres in a very, very sluggish. Just checking the time.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen's just turning the screw a little bit at the front of this race. A few 33-second laps down to 31. That's a shade under 8-minute pace. 32 seconds per lap gives you that 8-minute pace. Jakob Ingebrigtsen asking for help from Adel Michel, and Adel Michel, new Spanish indoor record at the Birmingham World Indoor Tour final. He's got a kick on him. So is Charles Grethin, and that's a lot closer to the front than Charles Grethin was in the heats. And here comes Augusto of France. Robin Hendricks just biding his time. Adel Michel is too polite. I don't know why he's taking the lead there from Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He should have left him to it. 2:41 through the first kilometre. It's around about 8:03 pace. Very modest for all the men in this field. Now, Jakob Ingebrigtsen back in the lead. That's been a big move from James West to get himself up into third position. He's a 3:34 guy. He's alongside a 3:32 and a 3:33, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen on 3:28. It's 1,500 metres man's game at the front here. And they're not running that quick. This is very smart of Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He's running just quick enough to stop the likes of Robin Hendricks and Mike Foppen and maybe even Sam Parsons from saying, enough's enough, that's way too slow. He's moved it into the realms of respectability, and that makes everyone else relax and think, I don't want to get past you. And that plays into Jakob Ingebrigtsen's hands, because if there's a sprint finish, if he's in a good position like this, the turn of pace that he had in the men's 1,500 metres, it was a ferocious last lap. Adel Michel went on to the press and said, I watched that race and I knew there's no way I can beat him, which isn't a great attitude to take into a race, but realistic perhaps.
Well, Ingebrigtsen has cranked up the pace over that last 200 metres, and it's cranked it up fairly significantly. The pace now dropping towards 7:50 mark. And I really think that there's possibly an error of the likes of Parsons and Hendricks not to be more courageous at the front, just to leave it to the sprinters like Ingebrigtsen and Mechal. 6 laps to go.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen's got a habit of doing this. We can see on the graphic on the screen it's down to 30 seconds per 200 metres. He's lifting that pace ever so slightly. We see this in so many of his races, even at the European cross country. With 10,000, he'd no right to mix it over a hilly, tough course with men that are so much used to racing over those longer distances. But Jakob Ingebrigtsen, doesn't matter if it's indoors, outdoors, cross country, he has picked up so many European titles. To come through this time, it will be 1 kilometre to go for the field, 2:33 for the second kilometre, markedly faster, and it's all been Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the front controlling this race.
Yes, 5:15.53 at 2 kilometres, and now it's Ingebrigtsen at the front, and he's ever increasing the pace. Mechal looking as though he's straining just behind him. Bibic up there as well. Bastien Augusto and Rowe as well of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Bibic has moved from a long way back. He's got a good kick as Bibic, the tall Serbian, possibly the tallest man in the field, easy to spot in the blue vest of Serbia in 4th place at the moment. So
It's absolutely brutal from Jakob Ingebrigtsen. That was a 29-second 200 metres. He's just inching it down. Now we've got to keep an eye on James West. He's lost his number off the front of his vest. He's not appearing on the graphic. That will have the timing chip, but he is there in 3rd place at the moment. Augusto trying to make a move. All of a sudden it's 3 laps to go. That's what happens in a 3,000. There's so many laps to go, and then all of a sudden you're into the last 600 metres.
Right, well, it's Ingebrigtsen still towing it away. Just 500 metres to go. Machal on his shoulder, struggling it seems, but that's often the racing style of Adel Machal. Bastian Augusto having a great race at the moment. Now Elvin Bibic deciding to get around the outside, tucking himself into 3rd. 400 metres to go, but it's still Jakob Ingebrigtsen in front, as he's been for the best part of the last 2 kilometres. Machal trying to go through the gears, but it doesn't look as though there's much there. Now the leading 3 have separated themselves from the rest of the field, and it's Ingebrigtsen, Machal, Elvin Bibic. Bibic having a great race there in 3rd, looking very relaxed at the moment, in sharp contrast to Machal. But Ingebrigtsen at the front, he's absolutely majestic. Bibic now starting to drift just a little bit off the back. Now going through the gears, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he just looks so calm and collected, so fluent in his running style. Machal starting to unravel after that brief attack from the bell, hobbling almost, looking around as Jakob Ingebrigtsen strides away for yet another double. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is not only the 1500 metres champion, but the 3000 metres champion. His time, unofficially, 7:40.33, his 11th senior European title. Who can stop Jakob Ingebrigtsen on the continental stage? And it's a national record indeed for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He doesn't run many 3,000 metres indoors, but when he does, he is almost unstoppable.
Should be holding up 2 fingers. 11th European Championship, Senior European Championships.
That would have been a very good thing. Yeah, that was a really good idea.
Too busy running laps and laps and laps of the track, isn't he?
He is indeed, yes.
9 kilometres of the track here for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Surely he's a bit dizzy. You might ask if he can do his warm down the other way round.
So it's already been a good day for Norway. Silver in the heptathlon just a short while ago, and now yet another gold for the Ingebrigtsen household. Jakob Ingebrigtsen winning in 7:40.32, a national record. Adel Machal silver in 7:41.